Wow, that's a good question. I've been wrestling with God for the last 2 years about running for this office. My motivation is not motivation. It's actually to be an advocate for people. Yeah, I'm a social worker. Love to be a social worker, and to advocate for people that don't have a voice, and to bring about change. I'm more of a transformational leader that motivates people to. When we engage, to bring them to the level to create change. It's not so much motivation as just to give people something different to look at. I'm a native of Boston, not Birmingham, but Birmingham is my home now. And to let people know that change can happen, and we can move forward into the 21st century. If we all work together and have that motivation and drive to want to change. So. To be a community, to convene as individuals, families, youth, and children to rekindle and reinvent our communities, to empower one another. When we empower each other to create change, things can happen. And to know that we are all human. We all make mistakes, but we all have talents, and bringing those talents together can bring about change in all 99 neighborhoods. And intertwining each other, we need to enmesh each other and know our neighbors. But community is being one mission, one vision. We have 99 neighborhoods, but we're one community, Birmingham. Well, being a Christian woman, first and foremost, I love everybody. And God knows I'm a person who either you're going to love or hate, and most of the time you'll love me. I'm just a different kind of person since I was a child. I've never saw color because I'm triracial, actually quadracial, as they call it now. Being, Puerto Rican, Black, Native American, and Irish, I've had a knack for bringing people together once they know who I am. And I know most of the city council, have worked with them in the past. But I'm a person who knows that, respect is important, and we have to learn how to communicate and listen to one another and have an understanding. We all have different ideas, but bringing all those ideas together can create tremendous change. And we've got to listen to each other, and I think that's key, communication and being open and honest. And that I am, and I try to do what would Jesus do. That's my motto. And so I strive every day to do that with people and with myself as well. Well, already working as a community social worker in my neighborhood and throughout the school systems. Um, I'm more going to be a out of office mayor. I love to be in the community. I love to be hands-on because things can't change without knowing the citizens and what they want, because they're the ones that are going to create the change within the neighborhoods. And being out there and being hands-on is important, and because you can't learn anything in an office. So in doing that now, knowing the motivation and just being around people, and knowing and hearing what they want. They have great ideas, and just bringing it all together with my expertise and my background can I can see God. It was God's vision that gave me for this, not my vision. So I can see it, and it's amazing to see that how He has made the way to come forth. So I'm excited about this, and I claimed this 2 years ago. So God's will be done. That's how I look at it. So I'm just I just can't talk about it enough. I just can't say enough about it. That's how I feel. And people that know me know I'm always in the community. I'm a person that just wants to, rise everybody up and give them empowerment and let them know that we can do anything together as a community, because that's what we are. We're a one community, Birmingham. So Team Birmingham, that's what I call it. What distinguishes me from other candidates? Well, one, I'm the second woman to ever run for the city, for the mayor office, and I'm not from here. People don't really know who I am. I've been here 10 years now, and it is my home. But my education, for the last 7 years, God has had me on this constant education road, where I got my bachelor's in social work, my master's in social work, my doctor of juridical science and advanced legal research and writing, my Juris Doctorate, and my PhD in public policy administration, specializing in law. And I'm in the process of finishing up my dissertation with that. So to be able to know that at this time, this is what we need to be able to understand that public policy and the law and understanding, you know, and to motivate and to help the council write public policy that is inclusive for all individuals of Birmingham, and understanding the law and knowing that the 1901 Constitution, there's a lot of barriers to that, but removing some of those barriers by letting people know and giving them the knowledge it separates me from any of those candidates that are running. So, and the fact that I'm a mother and I'm a wife and a grandmother and a godmother and a sister and a best friend and a foe and all of that, and I see the struggles because I've been there. You have to walk through some life to understand what people go through, and I've been there. You know, people always say, look at what I have on the outside, but it's my story and my walk that I've been on that God has shown me that I know that, you know, this is not the way it's supposed to be. So, and, you know, walking in His faith and His vision for Birmingham is why I'm here. And it's been I've been wrestling with Him, He'll tell you, for a long time, but then I just stepped out on faith and just did it. And said, okay, Lord, I'm going to walk, you know, I talk it, so I'm going to walk the walk. So here I am.
Okay.
You know, being in public policy and you know, researching, I'm about community policing. Community policing is important, not necessarily that they walk the beat, but community policing, that they take each of wherever they're stationed, and even if it's going into a gas station or a convenience store and just talking to people, that's community policing, knowing you know, because we are short police, unfortunately, because we are a police jurisdiction and we can only be in incorporated, you know, cities, but we have a lot of unincorporated land, so which is why we don't have a full staff of police in Birmingham, because unincorporated land can't count as a police jurisdiction, so they can only go where citizens are. But community policing is wherever their grid is where they're going down the alleys in and out, not necessarily, and substations. Substations not going to curb, you know, response time, but that community policing, being able to have that within the neighborhoods, and looking at that is key, and having a relationship with our children. A lot of them don't have children, don't know adolescent behavior, and understanding adolescent behavior is important because what they perceive maybe as a threat is not really a threat. So educating the police and youth as well, but making us all you know, accountable in our neighborhoods so that we can curb the crime, because, you know, the more you're active, you know, it will keep the drug dealers out. I'm a big proponent of doing things radical, and sometimes you have to be radical for change to happen. And transformation is creating that change and motivating people and doing it within being good and having a moral ethics. And that's, as a social worker, you know, and a Christian woman, that's how I look at things, because drug dealers aren't bad either, but because of where we're at, and people got to realize that they weren't, you know, it's a cycle. In order to break that cycle, we have to give them a chance as well. The role of the mayor is the executive administrator of the city, who does the speaking for the, you know, the government and for the citizens, but as well as, you know, influencing policy with, you know, the city council, and you know, understanding that when you have a mayor that is educated enough to understand that they can work well together to make sure that the laws and the statutes are, inclusive to all, and understanding that, and having a legal department that knows that there are things that protect us as a civil rights state. And understanding that is crucial, because there's a lot of things going on right now that unfortunately, because they don't teach civil rights education in law school, but as a passion of mine, I know that, and understanding that, and knowing that, in making good judgments as far as who to hire, and trying to make it better for all citizens, not just, it's all 99 neighborhoods, and you can't exclude downtown or Avondale, because we need them to survive, but taking all their talents and bringing them into the other neighborhoods is what a mayor should do. We should be bringing all of us together as a community. My greatest virtue is applied. That we're doing that right now, and as I'm an ordained minister, and we're doing that in our leadership class with our pastor. And I think separating ourselves as being of good moral ethics, and staying in the Word of God and in aligning with God, is so important to me, because I strive every day to be like Jesus. And I have only been saved for 10 years, so it's a process for me. But every time I search and seek for Him, it's that moral ethics, and knowing that, to be kind to people, to put people's needs above my own, is something that is so important. Because if you have moral ethics, there's nothing that you can't do in life. That we know we have laws, but I know that in the end, I'm not nobody's judge. But understanding that I can be kind, be courageous, and being able to stand in the Word of God is something that is beyond what anybody can touch. And I'm so proud of that. So. I being a juvenile social worker and working with families, this is kind of personal to me, because I'm a person that takes in a lot of children from the neighborhood to live with me. And I believe that children are not worthless, are not thugs, hoodlums. We keep tearing these children down, and they're children. Children need guidance, no matter how old, and it's been proven that, their brains don't develop until 26. Science has proven that. Children need to be encouraged every day. They're so used to being beat down and torn down, and encouraging just a friendly word, letting them know that you care and that you love them, can change a child's life forever. You have the power of, we speak life and death to people every day, and I always speak life and letting them know that they can do it. Children you have to tell them every day, and sometimes my mom still has to tell me, and I'm 45, but every day you got to keep reminding them. And the elderly, are like children now. My mother-in-law, I take care of my mother-in-law, and I love her dearly. And being a caretaker is a big responsibility. But knowing that she's done it for all her life, and now she needs it, it's like taking care of a child. And understanding that they have different needs, and just being patient with them. God has worked with me so much on patience. Because being a caretaker and having all these multi-roles as a mom, as a woman, and I can only do this through His strength. And knowing that, and understanding that children are our future, and I do whatever I can, because if a child is happy in their family, and the elderly are happy, then everything else flows. And we've got to start back at the families and not beating up these parents, because it's a cycle. You can only break a cycle when you teach them. They have to be taught as well. We've got to remember where we're at. We're in a slave state. That mentality is not the same. And breaking that mentality, but if you change their thinking, you can change their life. And it's amazing what God can do. And I think that's what we talk about, that we're, religious, we're not in bondage. As Christians, we talk about we have faith and we love our neighbor, but do we really understand what that means? That means putting needs above our own. And sometimes I do that, but as a mother, that's the most greatest gift, is loving others. And I think I challenge people is that, you know, you've got to mudslinging in everything. You've got to be able to work with people and to really love people, because if you love somebody, you don't tear them down. You build them up. That's what we're supposed to do as Christians. And understanding that, and just in whoever they vote for, is to understand that this is important. Your children are going to look at this. You know, you tell people, well, you have to vote for this person, this person. No, that's a personal choice. You know, and letting people know that no matter what you are, where you come from, you can strive to be. I never thought I'd be sitting here. I mean, I knew one day I'd be doing something great because God told me as a child, but I just never thought here in Birmingham, being my home and where I've come from, to know that things can change. This is not the way God intended this to live, and things can happen, but it takes hard work, sacrifice, and it's not going to take a year. You can't promise things. I can't promise things because I don't know how God's going to make all this work together. And it's not for me to know. It's just to understand and to keep studying in His Word, to know that this is the vision I gave you and to bring it forth. And He has given me this awesome vision. And people have come to confirm, you know, we want this in our neighborhood, a youth center, and we need a grant writer. I'm a professional grant writer. I'm an ADA compliance officer. All my education is for this time, to be here, to know that, you know, we need to, God is just too important. We say it, so I challenge people. I call, you know, because we are Christians walking this walk, and there's a few and far between, but with the right people in there, God's going to do some amazing things, and the devil is a lie. That's all I can say.